All right, guys, in today's video, we're going to compare DRGO, SCHD, and VYM. And if you stick around, I'll show you which one I personally own. All right, so as you can see, we have a side-by-side comparison of DRGO on the left side, SCHD in the middle, and then VYM on the right side. Let's focus on DRGO, which has total holdings of 425, and the top 10 holdings make up 26.5% of this portfolio. This includes JP Morgan, Microsoft, Broadcom, ExxonMobil, Apple, Johnson & Johnson, Chevron. So as you can see, the concentration risk is not as high when you compare it to the other ones, which we'll get into. But look, 26.5% just in these 10 companies. Now let's look at the holdings of SCHD. There's only 104 companies, but the top 10 holdings make up 40%. So you have to have a lot of faith in these top 10 companies if you're going to invest in SCHD. Broadcom, AbbVie, Home Depot, Texas Instruments, Merck, Cisco, all make up 40.46% of this ETF. So it's definitely something to think about if you're afraid of a little too much concentration risk. VYM, 453 companies, where these top 10 are 24.71%. JP Morgan, ExxonMobil, Broadcom, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble. Feel free, take a snapshot of this. This helps you compare and make sure you don't have too many of the other stocks in your portfolio if you're holding individual stocks or other index funds to make sure you're not, just over going on each one. All right, so I brought all three up. So DRGO is on the left side, SCHD is in the middle, and VYM is on the right. You'll notice that DRGO has more asset allocation to financials at 18.42%, technology at 17%, and healthcare at 16%. Whereas SCHD, industrials is 17%, financials is at 16.6%, a little less, and healthcare is at 15%, which is less. Then you go to VYM, which you can see financials is a heavier sector at 21%, consumer staples at 14%, and healthcare 12%. So when you're buying ETFs, you want to make sure if you're buying a dividend growth ETF, which sector are you having the most exposure to? So as you can see which ones that they're, more exposed, which you need to adjust your portfolio according to that. Whereas DRGO, banks, industry exposure, 7.5%. Oil, 7.19%, and pharma is 6.8%. Whereas SCHD is more oil, gas, 9%, semiconductors, 8%, and biotechnology at 8%. Whereas VYM, the banks account for 10%, and oil is 9%, and pharmaceuticals 6%. So I just wanted to break that down for you so you can see. Feel free to take a snapshot of this so you can compare them, which one that if you were going to buy one, just stick with one of them and know which sectors you have less asset allocation to so then you can make a more informed decision. But I think it's always good to look at funds and see what they're specifically putting your money into. Now let's look at the performance of the funds. You have DRGO on the left, SCHD in the middle, and VYM on the right. Before we go over the performance, the life of the fund is what we're focusing on. You want to look at all life of funds returns are available. So 2014 for DRGO, SCHD is from 2011, and VYM is from 2006. So now we can see what our average life percentage is. So DRGO has a 10.96% return every single year, which is excellent. So that's a good 10-year track record from 2014. SCHD, we have a track record from 2011. So we have a good 13 years on that, which is a life of the portfolio is 13% annually. VYM, which has been around the longest from 2006, the life is 8%. So right there, I'm going to knock off VYM as an ETF that I would choose for the long term. I'm going to pick either SCHD or DRGO. So I want this to be easy for the viewers to see. DRGO on the left, SCHD in the middle, VYM on the right. As we just said, DRGO, distribution yield 2.45%. Let's compare that to SCHD. SCHD pays quarterly dividends at 3.49%, whereas VYM, which is the Vanguard dividend ETF, pays 3.12%. So you can see there is a difference between the distribution yield that you're getting, 2.45% versus 3.49 versus 3.12. Expense ratios, they're all pretty low and very competitive, 0.08%, whereas SCHD and VYM are both 0.06%. So let's take a look at the analyst ratings. As you can see, DRGO on the left side has a 4 stars out of 5. SCHD has 5 stars out of 5. And then analyst ratings of VYM is 4 stars out of 5. So as you can see, SCHD does get the highest rating. You have to remember it had the highest performance at 13%. That's going to have some influence on, the star rating because of the return on capital. But if you look at just the overall technical sentiment, the midterm and the long term is strong for every single dividend ETF that we're showing. The difference is where do you want your money allocated and where do you feel comfortable putting it? All right, guys, so SCHD is my winner. I chose SCHD. I personally own this. You can see it under my playlist, under my portfolio. I display my taxable and my crypto portfolio for everybody to see. But as you can see, I have SCHD at a cost basis of $8,600, almost $8,700, and it's about 34% of my taxable portfolio. So I've been buying this since the early, 2023, and I've just been dollar cost averaging in it. And it's been working out so far. I'm up 7.88%. But this is a fund that I believe in long term, and I'm going to continue to dollar cost average every single week. And I just want you guys to see it because the ETFs that I show, I want it to be of value, and I want you to, see that, I have some skin in the game too. So I'm not just blowing smoke, bringing up random ETFs. If I bring up a fund, I want you guys to know that I'm definitely considering it or I already own it. And I think it's something that you could consider for your portfolio too. All right, guys, and if you are interested in more detail of SCHD, just go on my channel, Trading Simplified, type in SCHD, and I have a SCHD video just for this. You can click on the link. I'll post it up here just so you can see it, and you can also check out the short I made of it as well. Definitely something to consider. It goes in way more detail so you can get a better understanding. If you feel like you learned something, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Check out my playlist on the channel, Trading Simplified. I show the Fidelity Crypto Taxable Portfolio. I have all my trades recorded, my Fidelity Active Trader Pro, how I use it, how I set it up, long-term investments, investment strategies, and just trading P&L 2023. So check it out. I think you're going to like something. You find something of value. And until next time.